It's a Northwest Lifestyle Weekend on KOMO News. IRG's Health Talk continues.
All right, our first guest is Dr. Tom Duncan, a primary care physician from Tumwater Family Practice Clinic, and we're talking about some cancers. He apparently lost his dad to cancer, but there's a race for the cure coming up later this month to benefit the American Cancer Society, and this is a guy who's not doing a race for the cure for runners. He's doing one for drivers.
That's right. Yeah, he's taken his passion for Corvettes and fast automobiles and his passion for trying to help find a cure for this terrible disease, cancer, and turn it into an activity, raise money for research.
We'll get you more information on exactly how you can do that. But first, let's hear from Dr. Tom Duncan from Tumwater Family Practice Clinic and Shannon O'Kelly.
Dr. Tom Duncan, welcome to Health Talk. How you doing?
Fantastic. Shannon, thank you for having me, and South Sound Physical Therapy for having me today.
Well, we're glad you're here. Tell us about your practice. You're a physician, but you have a variety of interests, and you have a particular interest we're going to talk about later. But tell us about your practice right now.
My practice is family practice, so I see everyone from newborn babies to the end of their age. And, you know, our philosophy is how can we maximize people's health?
How'd you get interested in family medicine? I always like to ask that question because it must have been something in your life that led you down that path.
It was. What I think of when a doctor is, do they have interest in everything? When I met people, my family doctor, he knew everything. He knew a little bit about everything, but he was master of none. And the beautiful thing was he was very comfortable with what he didn't know. And that's one of my mantras now is I may not know everything, but I know what I know, and I more importantly, know what I don't know.
Well, I have a huge appreciation for family medicine physicians because, as you just said, I mean, you're dealing with the entire continuum of care, whether it's a cold to the terminal illness diagnosis, which is cancer. And that's what we're here to talk about is cancer. Tell us about your experience with cancer in your practice and maybe in your family.
My personal experience started when I was a very, very young man. At 20 years old, my dad was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. And I got to experience that end of life and not really having the tools to deal with that. On a very emotional thing, I was just a bit overwhelmed and I wasn't sure I wanted to go into medicine at that point. And then I went into the Army and I was in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and we had a mass casualty, not exercise, but people who were injured. 80, 90 people were injured. And during the ammunition explosion is when I had this epiphany that where I can have the maximum benefit of helping people is for me to become a doctor.
Wow. So what a story. So let's just review this and make sure we're all on the same page. You were 20 years old. Your dad was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. I'm sorry, and that's a tough thing to have happen in any family. My mom died of a glioblastoma, so I have a lot of appreciation for that. But we're here to fight cancer, and we're here to beat it. But you had that experience with your dad, and then you went into the Army and had an experience, a real life experience with trauma, and led you to become a family practice physician.
Yes, absolutely right.
That's an amazing story. And today in your practice, I mean, I can see your passion. I can see your emotion. You have a real interest and a real desire to fight this cancer thing. And how are you doing that right now in your life and in your practice?
In my practice, well, we work on early detection. You know, we're looking at breast cancer, and it's important to have a conversation with your doctor. If you're a woman, 40 years old, have that conversation of when you should start screening for breast cancer. Breast cancer affects 1 in 8 women. But what's even more amazing, now 2 out of 3 women actually survive that diagnosis. So we're actually making headway against this terrible disease.
Well, it's amazing, the survival rates and what we're seeing in research. I mean, on Health Talk here, we've had several physicians from several areas of different disciplines, but some of the stuff they're doing with cancer research and treatment, the biologics. But you mentioned as a family physician, you're the first line of detection. I mean, that's where it starts, really, is these signs and symptoms. Patients come in, you're going, oh, maybe something's going on here. We should get this looked at. So you have to stay active with your family physician.
Absolutely. And I encourage people, don't wait till the check engine light comes on.
Yeah, right. That's a good point.
Let's bring you in a little bit early, see if we can figure out things a little bit sooner.
And what kind of things are kind of triggers or maybe signs as a family physician you would want people to watch for? And, you know, I'm a guy. I'm a 56-year-old guy, right? And, you know, our motto is, it will go away, right? Oh, I've got some kind of pain going on. It will go away. That's usually, it's the women in our lives in healthcare that really make the decisions. But what kind of things are triggers that we should say, hey, let's get this looked at?
First of all is your age. You know, at 50 years old, you should get screened for prostate cancer or colon cancer, or depending on your age, maybe even a little bit younger. But signs and symptoms are unexplained fevers, chills, night sweats, weight loss, or a pain that just doesn't go away, that doesn't make sense.
We're going to continue our very interesting conversation with Dr. Tom Duncan and Shannon O'Kelly as we come up after this timeout on KOMO.
It's a Northwest Lifestyle Weekend on KOMO News. Now back to IRG's Health Talk.
Here's more with Dr. Tom Duncan and Shannon O'Kelly on IRG Physical and Hand Therapy's Health Talk.
Dr. Duncan, again, thank you for joining us, and thank you for just talking about those specific triggers, maybe things that patients should not ignore regarding getting in to see your family doctor. But you're involved in some fundraising and a cancer fight yourself and helping out. Tell us about your event.
Thank you. Again, wonderful to be here with South Sound Hand and Physical Therapy, Gerber Collision and Glass, and the Ridge are sponsoring me to bring more awareness to breast cancer fight. What we're doing is Corvettes Racing for the Cure manifested from our time in Laguna Seca, working with the Corvette race team. They brought us into family, and then when they brought us into the hot pits, we saw what an amazing unit that they were. They were so much fun. They worked hard, and they were doing a breast cancer awareness. I go, well, why can't we do this here? Why not us? Like Russell Wilson said, why not us?
Yeah, there you go.
And so we're putting on a track day based upon Tom Pritchett from Turn 2, where he would give rides from Camp Good Times, and people would just love it. And I said, well, let's go out to the Ridge. Let's take people around the track so they can feel the G's, put their hair in the wind, and just feel awesome. And we're taking donations for rides. And what's really cool, we got some pilots that want to take people up to 3,000 feet so they can get a completely different perspective.
You're kidding me.
No. And then the Ridge is going to put on a karting race where we got 15 teams competing for the top 3 spots. But more importantly, the team that gets the most donations gets a special prize.
So when is the event?
The event is on September 21st and 22nd of this year.
And it's at the location you described, the Ridge. Is that a racetrack in Olympia? Would that be right?
It's close. It's right outside of Olympia in Shelton, Washington. It's the Ridge Motorsports Park.
So you can go there and you can pay to have a Corvette driver take you around a racetrack. And how many miles an hour would you say top speed you're going to go?
So, yeah, there's a lot of other enthusiasts. There's Porsches, there's Miatas, there's Mustangs. There's a whole group of like-minded car enthusiasts that will be giving rides. But you'll be going twice the legal speed limit, around anywhere from 130 to 150.
That sounds like fun. Do you have a Corvette yourself?
I do. In our family, we have a mantra that says Corvettes equal family equal love. And so we like to spread the love. We have about 6 of them.
What's your favorite Corvette?
Looking cool is the 66 big block, but to go fast, you got to love the C7 Storm.
And then so you can go out to this track, and again, you're going to pay for a ride. You can ride in a Corvette, you can ride in a Porsche, and then you described it and talked about possibly getting up in the air. Who are you going to ride with in the air, or I guess fly with in the air?
So there's a part of the Shelton Club, and a group of folks are going to be taking people up there, and they're just as much cowboys in the air as they are on the ground.
Well, you have a lot of passion, don't you? This is really important to you. I can see it. I can feel it in your voice. This is incredible that you're into this fight, because this is what we need to fight cancer, people like yourself. Real quick, tell us about the event again.
The event is September 21st and 22nd. Anybody can come out and ride, but more importantly, you can go on the website, CorvettesRacingForTheCure.com. Check us out. You can donate. You can actually create your own team, have a sponsorship, and you can, like we do for Making Strides, you can go for a walk and collect donations. Just come out and be part of the team. Let's join together and make this a better place.
Thank you.
Dr. Tom Duncan, primary care physician, Tumwater Family Practice Clinic, Racing for the Cure, September 21st and 22nd. Corvettes Racing for the Cure. You can get a ride in this Corvette and register online, set a goal, and raise some money. You can do this as a driver, you can do this as a participant, or even as a virtual racer. Ask your friends and family for support, and you can go to benefit the American Cancer Society. Get more information at CorvettesRacingForTheCure.com. Our next guest, Vince Viola, next on KOMO.